TC here pretty soon. So I'll celebrate that.
That's fantastic. Any other bucket bills? Big wins. Gosh, quiet group this morning. Well, I've got a good win. The weather's nice out and it's getting warm. And for everyone complaining about the lack of snow, sometimes it's nice to have some warmth too. And there's a silver lining in a bad snow season. At least we get some warmth and sunshine.
Is the golf course
Okay, moving
open yet?
on. What's that, Eric?
Is the Vale Golf Course open yet?
I don't know. I don't have that affliction, do you?
You guys are lower than us. There's not much on our course.
Yeah, well, I
Cotton
don't play
Ranch
that
is
game.
open. This is Joan.
Which one's open, Joan?
Cotton Ranch and
Oh,
Gypsum.
okay.
Uh,
Okay. All right, well, let's move on. Let's go to some base camp buzz. Every Tuesday, we have productivity coaching with Katie Briggs from 1 to 2 p.m. in the Frisco office and on Zoom. Please sign up. This is a great way to help existing agents and new agents get into production. She will help goals, your career visioning, and keep you on track to sell more real estate. Every Wednesday, contracts with Rod Fishkin, 1:30 to 3:30 in the Edwards office. He has been doing it on Zoom as well. And every Thursday, accountability group, 1 to 2 p.m. in Frisco office and Zoom. Top of the Rockies movie night, March 31st with hors d'oeuvres, 6 p.m. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. at the Eclipse Theater. Featured film, Project Hail
Quick question, just
Mary.
confirming that
Starting on
I
the
saw
6th of April. What's that?
I saw that in the little picture of that in the weekly update. Is that a free event for our clients, right? Or is that a Leslie question?
Might be a Leslie question.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm. And then Breakthrough 120. We are starting this on the 6th of April. Myself, Leslie, Katie, and Russ are going to be teaching Breakthrough 120. This is replacing Ignite. Ignite is going away, and we are going to be teaching this. It's pretty intensive for the first week, and then there will be breakouts in the subsequent weeks. So please keep your eyes open and get excited about Breakthrough 120. This will be at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Zoom and in person at the Frisco and Edwards office. Mountain Properties on the 16th of April, we are going to be hosting a movie night, 6 p.m. at the Riverwalk Movie Theater. This is a great event that we host every year. Save the date next Wednesday, shift workshop with James Shaw. Who's going to this? Yes, I think Danielle's coming. And Karen from our office as well. We will be driving down, and if anybody needs a ride, please let me know. I'm going to be driving down. That's going to be at the DCSD Legacy Campus in Parker. Red Day coming up in May 14th. Mountain Properties from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We are going to be at Village Market doing a food drive. All collected items will go to the Salvation Army. And on the 12th, AI in the Mountains with Lauren Lucas from 10 to 1 p.m. at the Altitude Board of Realtors in Silverthorne. And then moving on, we've got Train the Presenter with Holly and John Prescott. They've been on the lift the last few weeks, April 8th and 9th, 9 to 5 p.m. both days. And this will be at the DTC in Centennial. Please sign up to see Holly and John speak. And then Keller Williams Luxury, the Spring Mile High Luxury Summit, curated by Brandy Sandall. This will be a luxury experience on the 6 critical shifts and the luxury agents must make right now. Insights from top producers, and you will leave with a personalized action plan. This is April 23rd at the historic Evans School in Denver. registration link on kwcoloradoevents.com. And then Rocky Mountain Summit. This is coming up. It'll be here sooner than you know. This is right here in our backyard. Ladies and gentlemen, please come to this event. It's 3 days. It's at a nice hotel right in Vail. And this is a great opportunity to network, to learn about what's going on in our industry, to keep us moving forward. And this is a great opportunity to gather referrals because the vast majority of the agents who attend this are regional. And if you're looking for referral partners, this is a great way to network coming up here in September. And then we have RE Profit. Who's using RE Profit? Anybody using RE Profit? This is great. This is a great way to keep your bookkeeping in control. Russ got this for our team back in November. And if you need help, come see me to get you set up. You have a complimentary account that will keep you organized. Who's waiting to the last minute for tax season right now? Anybody? Okay, this will really help you when it comes to keeping organized. And then we have BrokerBot Prompt. So BrokerBot, for any of you that don't know, this is our in-house AI tool that we have partnered with. And this is really great because it's more specific to real estate language. And one of the things that I took home from Family Reunion that we talked about on the regional rally yesterday was AI and how we can use this for our business. And ladies and gentlemen, please be leveraging this to help you. You can and use other platforms as well, but this is the time that we need to be using AI to help us create Instagram Reels, YouTube videos, YouTube Shorts. These AI tools can help you build out a weekly, monthly, and yearly business plan based on what they know about you to create scripts and to get you hooks, titles, SEO language that you can use to get boosted and give you creative strategies so that you can build a successful social media platform. So use BrokerBot, and if you need help with it, come see me. Chair Chat. Next week, we've got Charles Coleman on Gemini AI. On the 31st, we have Debbie Nelson on lead generation in a shifting market. On the 7th, we have my friend Aaron Harrell in Sarasota, Florida, talking about luxury in organic marketing. And then Scott Maloof, he is in San Antonio, somewhere, I believe. I met Scott at the Rocky Mountain Summit last year, and he is a wealth of knowledge on lead generation. And the Express Lift productivity tips with Katie Briggs. Katie, take it away.
Awesome. All right. So today I want to encourage everyone to re-engage some of your leads who kind of paused their search during 24 and 25 while they were waiting for the market to shift. Well, the market has shifted. So we want to use a data-driven approach and indicate, inventory is up and so are days on market. So they don't have to make as an immediate of a decision on a lot of properties. But all of those things ultimately mean that affordability has improved. So now is a great time to buy or sell. That's all I got. Thanks.
Of course. And then the rise, recognition for closing cappers and contributors. We are, next slide, Marielle, please. Okay. Vail recognition for February 2026. Sam Malloy, #1 in the region for February. Top volume 6.5 million, and GCI 162,500. Cynthia Thrall was 7th in the region in individual GCI at 81,000. And then in Summit February recognition, top of the Rockies. Number 5, top market center in sales volume. Tony Giaccone, number 4 in individual sales and GCI at 101, 100,000. Signature home team, number 4 in closed units. Number 3 top teams in closed volume at 2.3, and number 3 top teams in GCI at 61,000. The Skinner team, number 10 in the region, top groups in closed volume at 4 million, and number 7 in top groups in GCI, 112,000. And June's team, number 10 in top groups in GCI, 103,000. Congratulations for all of your hard work and effort in February. Share chat. Meeting. Today we have a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Scott Shuman. He is a passionate real estate since his licensure since he was 18. He is with the Sue Adler team in New Jersey. And today, Scott Shuman is going to talk to us about listings. Is that right, Scott?
You talk about whatever you want, but we'll talk about listings. That sounds like fun.
We're going to talk about all kinds of things,
Whatever.
Scott.
I'm an open book. Whatever you want to go.
Yeah, we are just grateful to have you here. And
Sure.
didn't you guys just get a massive award and family reunion?
Yeah, and it's funny. I didn't know we got this. I thought we were number 3, but we're the number 1 group, Keller Williams worldwide. So we're number 1 in Keller Williams for 2025. We sold about 400 and just north of $450 million worth of real estate last year. No expansion teams. That's all one single location. We're about 55 people altogether. And we have a pretty incredible business that we run.
Yeah, and how long have you been in the business, Scott? So since you were 18, I don't mean to necessarily age yourself, young man.
Yeah. So this is my 16th year in real estate. So there you go. You all now know how old I am. And I started as an intern with Sue. I was a high school intern, unlicensed, got licensed. I went to school in Florida, worked for a team down in Tampa doing short sales and foreclosures, and thought that's fun. But New Jersey with luxury homes is way more exciting. And about 2 years ago, I bought, there you go Tampa, yes. And about 2 years ago, I bought half the company from Sue. So Sue and I are true partners in the business. And when I started with Sue, we were doing like 60 or 70 million, and that was big production at the time. And now to think, gosh, we're doing over 450 million. That's insane. And we're on track right now to have a even bigger year this year. So really focused on growth, and that's all in the backbone of finding listings, quite frankly.
Yeah, and so let's talk a little bit about that. When you're focusing on growth and the backbone of listings,
Yeah.
give me your top 3 strategies on how you acquire listings, Scott.
Yeah, so we're real old school, and I think that's what's really worked for us is we've found what we're good at, and then we just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. I really I try not to be somebody who I'm not. I admire all the people out there who are YouTube celebrities and Instagram influencers and all those other things. It's just not where we pick up business. We pick up business with really old school, boring techniques, and we can talk about them all today because you all can do them. That's the amazing part. So we are heavy on the phone. We have 8 inside sales associates. Your business doesn't have to be in a place to have an inside sales associate to do inside sales associate work. It's just boring, monotonous work, which is making phone calls all day long. Of course, in a TCPA compliant way that Keller Williams has taught me to say every time I say telephone. We do workshops. So if any of you were at the Rocky Mountain Summit last year and you came to my breakout, we talked a lot about workshops and how we implement those in our business. We're well over 5,000 people in our workshops now. We just had 40 at our one last week. I'm doing one this week. I have 12 groups signed up. I'm doing one in a completely new territory that's about an hour north of me. In 2 weeks, we already have 15 people signed up. I have no brand presence there whatsoever. So you can do it. Trust me. You can go to a random town, a random place and do workshops and pick up business. And then we are fanatical about direct mail. I do more direct mail than maybe anybody. I'm up to about 4,000 pieces a week, every week, 52 weeks a year. I do big branded pieces all the way down to, I affectionately call them ugly letters. They're the golden letters that people like Will Sawyer talk about a lot from on stage, which is a ripoff and duplicate of 900 other people that have done it, by the way. I think honestly, we're just really good at following systems and models that have worked for other people, not overcomplicating it and just doing it again and again and again and again. And one thing that I've been really obsessed about as we've built the business is I've always loved lead sources that just require more money. And what I mean by that is, like 2 years ago, we used to be sending 1,000 letters a week, and we said, okay, well, mailing's really working. How can we double, triple, quadruple that? It's just sending more letters, right? And we're not like licking envelopes and sending them. It's a mail house. So for me to send 1,000 letters or to quite frankly send 10,000 letters, it's the same amount of effort. It's just a bigger budget allocated to that lead source, right? And those are the things that I'm obsessed with is what can I control that as it grows or as I need higher output from it, I can just put more money on it, like gasoline on a fire, and make it bigger and bigger. And that's really what started to, build the business and get us to the listing proficiency that we are now.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about those, maybe a little bit more granular. When
Sure.
you talk about workshops, let's start with
Yep.
workshops.
Sure.
You're talking about going an hour north to host a workshop.
Yep.
What kind of topics are you discussing in these workshops?
Yeah, so the workshops are really simple. The workshops are your listing presentation or consultation, just in a PowerPoint form with a lot of pictures. And so what we talk about is we call them home prep, staging, and selling workshops. So you talk about prep, staging, and selling. And in the mix, you talk about marketing. That's kind of your braggadocious section, if you will. That's your opportunity to say this is how you should market a property. This is what we do to market a property. These are all the things that the average agent doesn't maybe do to market a property. That's kind of your opportunity to show off. And what you find is that if I had a coach ask me this question one time. He said, if you could choose any type of lead source, would you choose the lead source where you got to meet the people face to face, belly to belly, or the type of lead source where they just saw your name on a postcard or on a billboard and drove by it and said, well, that guy's handsome. That's nice, right? I think everybody would choose the opportunity to meet people face to face, belly to belly. And so what workshops do is they create that opportunity. I get to be me or one of my agents gets to be in front of 40 people who are thinking about selling their homes. And when they leave, they know, like, and trust me. And it gets me that at bat whenever they're ready to sell their home. The twist or the part about the workshops that most people miss is how do you actually get conversion out of that? The way that you get conversions out of the workshops is three-quarters of the way through, we stop the workshop and we break everybody out into individual groups. And what you're able to do is go one by one, right? So if Ryan was in my group, I sit down with Ryan. I'm like, hey, Ryan, thanks so much for coming to the workshop. I hope it's been helpful. Ryan's like, yeah, this has been awesome. And I say, hey, Ryan, out of curiosity, what was the one thing you came to this workshop to get answered tonight? And everybody has a question. And inevitably, it's a question I can't answer without seeing your home. In my area of the world, a lot of my homes are built between, say, 1940 and 1970. Anybody have like a yellow bathroom, a pink bathroom, a green bathroom, a blue bathroom? You know those what I'm talking about, the retro actions? Yeah, I have them all. And so a lot of times I get, well, Scott, we have this canary yellow bathroom, and my wife's been on me to redo it, but like, I don't know, should I do it? Should I not do it? Well, I don't know. I mean, I got to see your house. Is that the only bathroom, or do you have a pink bathroom and a blue bathroom too? And maybe your wife just hates yellow. Like, I need more information in order to give you the best advice. And so, what does that set me up to do? I get to say the really simple thing, which is, hey, Ryan, that's a really great question, and I'd be happy to answer it for you. I actually need to see your home in person in order to give you the best advice, because sometimes the land is actually worth more than your home is. And so if you're going to do it for yourself, like, go for it, but you're actually not going to get a return. Other times it's the best money you can spend. But what I can guarantee you is I'm never going to have you spend money in an area where you're not going to get a return. Now, what happens is when anyone goes on speaks on a stage or a platform, they usually have an offering at the end, right? And they give you like a deal for the offering. Everybody following? Like if you went to family reunion, everybody had a thing, right? They had a QR code, they had a website you went to. That's the way it works, right? Why does everybody go there? It's because you built authority being on stage, right? So you're like, oh my God, you're going to give that to me? Like, I want to give you my information so that way I can have that thing because I just watched you for an hour. The same thing happens on a much smaller scale at the workshop. You kind of build up this authority. So instead of me trying to sort of like get in the door. Now I'm saying, hey, I'd be happy to come over. And they're like, oh, you do that? You'd come see me? You'd come to my personal home to like that guy that was up there telling all these people about how to sell their homes. Like you'd actually come to my house and give me personal advice. It makes that appointment so much easier to get. And then of course, once you're there, your opportunity is to try to uncover motivation. Why are you thinking about moving? When would you think about moving? And actually helping the consumer get to where they ultimately want to go.
And Vicente has a question. How are you advertising these workshops?
Direct mail.
Direct mail. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk more about that direct mail. You're sending weekly direct mail out.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
So
what specific things are you sending out? Just sold, just listed.
no, no. So I don't do any postcards.
Okay.
I'm a firm believer that postcards died a long time ago, and they're killing your budget if you're still doing them. Postcard. If you get a postcard, you're hoping for this, huh? And then it goes in the mail. It goes in the recycling bin, hopefully, right? You're paying to get maybe 3 seconds of a huh, and then it gets tossed, right? Now, yes, you may have gone on a listing appointment and they've like stacked all your just listed or just sold postcards together, but those people are few and far between, and your ROI isn't very high on that. What I'm obsessed with is direct mail in a white envelope. I believe that curiosity kills the cat 100% of the time. And I want people to be curious about what I'm sending them. So what we do is we use white, normal envelopes, right? That like white normal envelope. And we print first name, last name. My youngest sister-in-law actually formats my list for me, so it's not like from a tax record where it's all weird and has like hyphens and dashes and stuff. Like she writes it out. So my wife's name's Kristen, so it'd say Scott and Kristen Shuman, right? Um, we then print it in black ink, and inside there's a single sheet of white computer paper with our messaging printed on it. In my case, the invitation is a does this sound like you? Are you worried about pre-inspection issues? Are you worried, concerned you missed the market? Confused about what home staging means? How do you prep your home for sale, et cetera, et cetera? If so, come to our workshop Tuesday afternoon at 7 o'clock at the Summit Public Library, where we'll cover X, Y, and Z. And that's how we get people signed up every time. Now, when you're starting out, you should absolutely send it to your database. Because you're all KW agents, you've all heard of MOFRs, make offer for immediate response. And so what's cool is that think about most MOFRs in the real estate industry. Most MOFRs in the real estate industry involve something like your home's guaranteed sold or I buy it, your price is my promise, whatever, right? There are all these MOFRs, and those all work. What's different about this MOFR is there's no sales. It's pure education, right? It's, hey, we see a need. We're going to solve the community's need. If you have that need, come here at this time and we'll help you, right? No obligation. You have to sign up on an Eventbrite page. It's pretty simple. I don't ask for your firstborn's name, phone number, email, bed bath count, basic, information. People show up. I'm not buying you dinner. I'm not buying you drinks. I'm not making you come to my scary office. We're going to a public library. It's an hour and a half. You can leave whenever you want. And ultimately, then it's just on me to be a great presenter, to be engaging, to be authoritative, and to ultimately get them into hopefully a follow-up appointment to address their individual concerns of their particular house.
And then Scott, what other pieces of direct mail, not postcards, you're
Yep.
advertising your workshops this way. What other items are you sending to drive business?
Yeah, so I love the golden letter. If you're not using the golden letter, I'm not sure why. So the golden letter essentially says, "Hey Ryan, I have a buyer for your home at 123 Main Street. Would you be interested to sell? Would you be interested in selling it to a client of mine? If so, here's my cell phone number."
Yep.
There's a little bit more to it, but that's basically it. And so what happens with those is you have what where people so here's the thing about direct mail. People fall flat on two aspects of direct mail. Number one is they don't send enough of it. Direct mail is really inexpensive to do in a grand scheme of things. You're talking about probably 75 cents to $1 a piece. But the response rate of like a phone call, like 2% response rate on direct mail is like you send out like a holy grail mail. 3% is like Coca-Cola is going to hire you to go do direct mail for them. So like direct mail response rate is not like internet lead conversion where, you're getting a 50-cent PPC or something like that. Like direct mail is super high intent people, but you have to have enough quantity. So I often will get phone calls of people that are like, yeah, dude, I tried your home selling workshop thing and like it didn't work. And I'm like, really? I'm like, well, who'd you mail to? They're like, ah, I sent it to 500 people. I'm like, well, 500 people, like at a 1% response rate is like not getting you somebody to sign up, right? So we need multiples of people. Now I get it. Maybe you can't do 4,000 people a week, but you can do 1,000 people a month. That's going to start getting you traction, right? So when you're thinking direct mail, you got to make sure you're sending it to enough people to actually like create impact and create response. That's number one. But the golden letter works. And the second part I see is people don't know the scripting behind how to get to that next step. Because what ends up happening is people call and they're like, hey, Scott, I got your letter. So what's their offer? Well, I haven't seen your home, right? So I got to see your home first in order to let you know about that. And so the key is I just need to get in the front door. If I can get in your front door, then what I can do is start understanding motivation, understanding why you even responded, because nobody just calls for fun. Somebody called because something piqued their interest, right? So something piqued their interest. They were interested in the offering. We start a conversation. All of a sudden, you find out they want to move closer to their grandkids, or they have a second home down the shore, or out in Colorado, and they want to move out there, right? And you start understanding, like, okay, why are you really moving? And what's really funny is in my market, and maybe in your market, you meet people that maybe think things are worse than they really are, right? They think, oh, I totally missed the market, right? I'm like, it was up here and now it's all the way down here. And you're like, well, no, it's not like up there anymore, but like maybe it's over here somewhere, right? So still good. It's just not as good as maybe it once was. And so all of a sudden they're like, well, yeah, like, I don't know, if you get me an offer here, I'd sell it. And maybe we can talk to them about, hey, look, like the way to actually maximize the value of your home is to expose it to the market, right? More eyeballs equals more feet in the door, more feet in the door equals more offers equals a higher price. Yes? Yes,
Yeah.
love it. Good. So, like, that's maybe the strategy that we should take here. A lot of times you get people who say, yeah, that's great. That's really exciting. And you can pick up a lot of listings that way as well. It's an easy way to make the phone ring.
And because this is a common objection I get with agents
Huh?
is, well, Ryan, I'm afraid to send these letters because I really don't have a buyer. I really don't have a buyer. But what I'm hearing you say is it's not that you're just trying to get in front of these homeowners to say, hey, look, we might have an offer, but let's expose this to the multiple listing service. Let's get this in front of multiple buyers so that we can have a competitive environment.
Yeah. And I might have a buyer.
Yeah.
Obviously I have a big team at this point, so we have a lot of buyers. I totally get it. You might be a solo agent. You might be like, I got two buyers, none of them are looking in the farm I want to farm, and like, I don't know. I had another coach once, and he said, well, you have an investor, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, for the right price, your investor would probably buy anything, right? Like, yeah. By the way, I'll be all of your, I love your part of the world. So I'll be all of yours investors. If you bring me a great deal, preferably ski in, ski out on Aspen, that would be amazing. But like, I'll deal with other mountains too. Like, if it's a steal, like I promise you the money is not hard to find, right? Like deals, there are people in any market conditions everywhere in the world that will buy great deals, right? So we always have a buyer. I always have a buyer. They might not pay the price you're willing to sell your home for, but I always have a buyer. But again, it's really not about that. It's about understanding why is somebody picking up the phone to call me about that. And from there, like, okay, how can I help you achieve that goal? And some of these people go into the pipeline and they become my next home selling workshop attendee. And then they're 2 years out and we just build this relationship and this rapport together. Like I'm obsessed with top line funnel filling, right? Like I know if I can get people in the top, eventually a lot of people will start coming out at the bottom, right? And so
Sure.
I'm all we're trying to do all day long is turn the farms and get people to pick up the phone and meet new Mets and get them into the database. And then from there, it's on me to, host events that they want to come to and keep my brand in front of them and put them on my email list and call them quarterly and, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and one more question about that from a technicality standpoint. You're talking about you're not handwriting these, so you're printing them, right, in
Yep.
bulk, and then
Yep.
you're not handwriting the envelopes. Do you have a company doing this for you?
Yeah, I use a company called ITI. They're out of California. They were the cheapest I could find. I literally upload the letter I want to send. I upload the mail list I want to send them to, and they do everything else. I don't touch it. I don't see it. I send a copy to my office just so I know like rough timing of when it got to New Jersey, but I don't touch a single thing. And that's why I said like for me, I love that because I could send 1,000, I could send 5,000, I could send 10,000, I could send 100,000. It's just money, right? But to me, it's all investment, right? I know that when I do these things at scale, I can predict the response I'm gonna get. And because we've done them for so long, I know that like if I send 5,000 and I get 50 phone calls, if I get 50 phone calls, we're going to go on 15 appointments. If I go on 15 appointments, I'm going to take 5 listings, right? So I'm like, well, wait a second. To send 5,000 letters, let's say that cost me 6 grand, but I'm going to take 5 listings. My average price point's 1.3 million. So I take 5 listings at 1.3 million to spend 6 grand. It's like the best money I spent all year, right? So that's how it become like once you get into it and you start being able to predict it, then it becomes super addicting because you're like, oh, well, like I want more listings here. So like I'll turn this dial up a little bit more and we'll do a little bit more mailing here and a little bit more mailing there. And all of a sudden the responses start coming in, you get blown away by it. And the thing is that nobody else in your market's doing this. That's the trick. They're all sending these fun flyers and these colorful postcards and the this and the that. And so I hear that a lot. Well, yeah, but there's already somebody there, doing it. They are, but they're not hitting them with a message that's having any impact. And so you might see their postcards, but they're not getting any phone calls from those postcards. And because of that, they're not getting any business from them. And so you have this opportunity to kind of come in at a cheaper price point, by the way, and have a way greater impact.
Yeah, and you're sending, hey, I have a buyer interested in your home. Are you
Yep.
open-minded to selling it? Are you
Yep.
sending that exact letter to that same homeowner continuously throughout the year? No.
No, so you gotta be careful. You gotta like, I'm servicing probably 20 towns at this point. So, we're kind of like moving it all. We're kind of cycling through the area and then coming back to it. I would say that message probably is like a twice a year message at most.
Okay.
You don't want to look fake. So you have to be real and sincere, point blank period with everything you do. But if you send the message too many times, even if it is sincere, if you're like, dude, like I have a buyer for your home, like please call me at a certain point, it just loses authority, and people are like, "Yeah, you're just full of hot air, and this is just like a fishing expedition." And obviously, that's not the position anybody on this call wants to be in.
Got it. So golden letters, and then your advertising your workshop. Anything else that you
Yep.
send throughout the year?
Yeah, I love if you can get your anytime a seller writes a testimonial, uh, copying and pasting it and writing it in a letter and mailing that letter to that neighborhood where you did that business. That's amazing. Particularly if you're in a market where you're getting multiple offers on that unit, which in my market we're still getting multiple offers kind of on everything. So it's not uncommon for me to have 8 other buyers who didn't get that house or didn't get that condo, and they're still looking for a unit in your complex with a first floor master bedroom, and people are like, yeah. And I'll attach, here's what our sellers had to say, right? Another kind of cool twist on that is if you can get, we've gotten our sellers permission to send it on their behalf. That's kind of fun. So it looks like it comes from the seller to the neighborhood recommending us. We do all the back end work, but we're sort of like ghost writing it for our own seller. Of course, please make sure that your seller is cool with that because somebody will eventually call them and be like, "Hey, I got this letter about Ryan. Like, what is this about?" And if that's weird conversation, if you didn't actually ask your realtor ahead or your client ahead of time, but that works too. Just any to me, anything in a white envelope gets the open, gets the read, and that just increases the opportunity to have my MOFR picked up. So whatever your MOFR is that's unique to your communities, like make sure you're thinking about that, and make sure you're getting in front of them and like stop trying to do things that are like graphically impressive. That typically doesn't have the highest, that might have great brand recognition, but that's not going to make the phone ring. And I think that's where then realtors kind of start falling off. It's like I'm spending all this money on these things and no one ever calls me because of it. It's like, well, yeah, because you didn't ask them to do anything or you didn't put it in a package that like made them actually read it and do something because of it.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? When I first started my career in real estate, I had a coach that told me to do this. And I got a listing out of it where I took sticky pads, post-it notes, and just write on the post-it note, call me about your home and
Yep.
put your name and you put it on their door if they don't answer. It's
Yep.
mysterious. It's almost a little tacky on purpose because
Yep.
it drives an emotional response. We're like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with my home?
Yep.
Why does somebody want to know? Why does somebody want me to call them about their home? But if you
Yep.
put a fancy door hanger that's glossy, matte with your logo, people are like, yeah,
Yeah.
another realtor, and they're going to throw it in the trash. It's
Yeah,
got
I
the
think
same kind of emotional response, right?
yeah, I think that's actually like a really interesting point. I think one of the things that we've been talking about a lot this year is I think as real estate agents we get a little too um caught up in our technical proficientness and we lose sight of the emotional connection that our business is really based off of. And so we go in and we're like, well, we're number one in the marketplace or we're number one in the world. Like, of course, everyone wants to work with us, right? And what's funny is that people choose to do business with other people. That's just the nature of our business. And what I often find is so true is that what actually happened was we were really technically proficient, but we had no emotional connection with that consumer, right? And I think that to your point, Ryan, like that's so true. Like sometimes we put together these things, they're so professional looking and they're so amazing and they're great. And we're like, pat ourselves on the back. This is amazing. And they're great. And yet, like, they don't have any connection to the actual consumer. And so they go, well, this is great, but you're just bragging on yourself, right? Like, this doesn't mean anything to me as the consumer. That's great. You're number one. That's great. You sold more homes than everybody else. Who cares, right? People want to know, like, I love your community. I eat, breathe, sleep your community, right? Like, and I love your home. I don't know what any of your specialties are, but like going back to ski in, ski out, like maybe that's your thing, right? Like all I do is obsess over ski in, ski out properties. Like that's my jam. And I know it better than anybody else. I know more people that do it more than anybody else. I know all the pros and cons of it than anybody else. Like, I don't know what your thing is, but like maybe that's it. Like I think that's what people connect to, not the like I'm number one and I sell more houses and my listed sale price ratio is super high. Like that's important and it comes, but that emotional connection side is what makes people want to do business with you in the first place.
That's right. And then, Scott, any advice or something that maybe you didn't tell us that you want to share with the group as just a lasting statement or a piece from your mind?
Yeah, I think what I have always found is that the boring old school hard work is what works. Agent, my own team, they'll come to me and they're like, "Oh, the leads suck, or this happened, or that happened," and inevitably, the only way to fix that is to get back into their database and do the hard work, pick up the phone and send the emails and send the text messages and show people they care and just start re-engaging relationships. I think especially now with AI and which obviously is an incredible opportunity and definitely has a place in our businesses. I think it's so easy to kind of just look for the easy button and the shiny object and say, oh, that'll be great, and that'll be great, and that'll be great, and that'll be great. And there's no shame or shot at any of that. But I do think that a lot of the time it takes our eyes off the things that actually do work and truly like create business today. And so I think when you look at your schedule, you have to be thinking about like, okay, how am I future proofing my business? That's your AI, maybe that's your YouTube, maybe that's your social media strategy, or you just saw Gary Vee and you're like, I'm gonna create 9 million Instagram handles and we're just gonna be like blowing it up. Like I love that. That's cool. But also like likelihood of that paying off in the next 60 to 90 days, probably not super high. Sure, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Like, okay, what am I actually doing that's like building my business today? Again, top of the funnel, like how am I consistently adding new people into my business and what does that look like? And I think the easiest ways or the simplest ways to really own that is the phone, mail, certainly, and getting out and meeting people. And that's where the events came from. Like we were going on a lot of appointments and they were all one-on-one individual. And we were like, all right, we need to like better use our time. So now it's like I don't have to go on 40 1-hour appointments. I get to go on one 90-minute appointment with 40 people. Changes everything, right? And so like that just became our obsession. And the way that I'll leave you with one book and one recommendation. So we love the book 12 Week Year. If you haven't read the book 12 Week Year, it's a complete game changer in your business. It talks about breaking down your normal year into 4 12-week quadrants. It sounds like quarters. It is, but they're 12-week years. And the idea behind it is that every week becomes the importance of a month. And how would your mindset change if a week wasn't a week, it was actually a month? So if you didn't get done what you needed to do this week, it wasn't, oh, that was just a week, I'll do it next week. It was, that was the entire month of January. Now I'm in February, right? Like it accelerates the schedule. It changes your internal wiring to think a lot more. There's a lot more importance to every day and every activity. And the other thing that happens with 12-week year is it becomes about tracking things. And so the question I would ask all of you is what are the key metrics that you're tracking on a daily or weekly basis that's showing you the trajectory of your business? I find that in our industry, we all come in with a head of steam in January, and then we get to usually like June, July, August, somewhere in there. And for some reason, at that whole point, maybe it slows down a little bit, maybe I don't know, whatever. We all look up and we go, oh, this didn't work out. I'm nowhere near where I thought I wanted to be. And then to me, we do the worst thing, which is we recast our goals because, well, I wanted to do 30, but like that's not gonna happen. So if I could do 18, like that would make me really happy, right? And then we're cutting ourselves short to try to reach a goal at the end of the year. And I think that's all because we just lose sight of the things that are actually moving the needle every single week. So for me and my company, my goal, my only, like my guiding light is 8 taken listings every single week. I know that if I take 8 listings a week, I will hit my goals because everything else cascades from that, right? My buyer business cascades from that. My volume, obviously, from the sell side cascades from that. Like everything else cascades from that. So everything is built on 8 new listings a week. If I can take 8 listings a week, all my other problems are solved for me. And so that's the question, like in your business, like what's that one thing that if you accomplish that every single week or every single day, all the other problems fix themselves. That becomes super scalable because then as you want to grow your business, that number just becomes bigger and all the other formulas kind of like play off of that. So then you go, okay, well, if I need to go on, maybe your goal is 1 taken listing a week. Okay, great. Now it needs to be 2. Well, now what does my appointment count look like in order to get 2 appointments, right? You see how it all connects and plays off of each other.
Yeah. So, in summary, this is what I'm hearing from everything we talked about today. You're picking up the phone, you're
Oh yeah.
staying in front of people that are in your database, you're doing direct mail, you're hosting workshops, but what you're not doing is getting distracted by all of the techniques and strategies that may or may not work, and then finding yourself scattered, trying to be diluted in a bunch of strategies. Instead, you're just saying, hey, we know what works. We're not going to complicate this. We're going to do the hard work and we're going to get in front of people by doing the basic, gritty, hard work of picking up the phone, staying in front of people, having workshops, sending mail, getting 8 listings a week, and all the other problems take care of themselves. And I think this is important for us on this presentation today. We all need to find, it goes back to the 80/20, right? It's 80% of our results comes from 20% of things we're doing, and we need to get hyper focused and very clear on what our goals are. And we have to have a plan, right?
Yep.
And we need to keep charging forward on that plan. Scott, we're so grateful you came today. It's been a
Of
wealth of
course.
knowledge
Yeah.
and amazing. And
Anytime that you guys need anything, you guys are awesome. And you have by the way, I speak at many regional that you guys like by bar none have the best region in the country. I mean, even putting on things like this is unbelievable. So the access to tools and people that you guys have and knowledge far surpasses pretty much everybody else in the country. So y'all are in good hands. And I agree, Ryan. I think everything you just said is so true. If you find that 1 or 2 things that like you're committed to and you do it consistently and you do it well, the results all follow. Don't try to be somebody else because they were really influential or it looks really cool or that's like I don't know, something that everybody else thinks you should be doing. Do the thing that works for you and just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and the results just come from themselves.
amazing. And then I have one more announcement. Russ just sent us a text this morning. Zillow and Keller Williams are partnering to establish a pre-market listing where we will be able to, and I don't have all the details yet, we are going to be able to pre-market any new listings that we have on Zillow. So stay tuned. We will have more information, but this is exciting. This is very similar to what Compass and Redfin have done. And just for the sake of your time, we'll get wrapped up here. We will see you on the lift next Tuesday at 9:15. And you all enjoy your week. Thanks for joining us today, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Scott. That
Scott.
was fun.
Bye, guys. Bye, bye, bye.
See you, gang.